Fusion Zamasu has a pretty good counter animation, and it's pretty hard to see nowadays because he's not really that usable. However, we should start seeing him very soon because he should EZA for the Global Dokkan Campaign. In order to activate his counter, you need to be facing an opponent with an unarmed super attack, and if that super attack is aimed at Zamasu, then you have a 70% chance of countering it. Let's stick on the Zamasu/Goku Black train for a second, and let's look at Fizz Rose Goku Black. The unit was okay on release, and it's turned very meh later on due to its restriction to super bosses, and super bosses is not in the greatest position as of right now. But if you want to see his Nullify animation, then you have to face an opponent with a Ki Blast super, and it needs to be aimed at Rose, and he has a 70% chance of nullifying that attack. The final Zamasu unit that looks really good and has amazing animation that you probably haven't seen in a while is LR Tech Infinite Zamasu. He's aged out quite a bit, and it's really hard to get into his Infinite Zamasu domain due to his awful active skill condition. But once you're in that form, you're always guaranteed to see his Nullify animation because it's 100% versus all attacks. Next, let's get into the Gammas. The first one is STR Gamma 1. He has a counter against unarmed super attacks. He has a 70% chance of countering that. And you probably haven't seen it too often just because unarmed super attacks are not super common, but also you probably haven't used them too recently. His last relevance was during 9th anniversary. He should be coming up on EZA soon. We thought he was going to EZA during Tao Celebration, but who knows when he should, but he should come up on one very soon. First, the next Gamma is AGL Gamma 2, and he hasn't been on the meta scene in quite a while, but he's also up for an EZA very soon, and he's one of my favorite units in this game. An amazing Dokkan Fest unit that I really enjoyed with the Movie Heroes team. He has a Nullify against Ki Blast supers, and he has a 70% chance of proccing it if that super is aimed at him. The next one we have is AGL Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku, who came out during Golden Week last year, and he still has some use in some events like Battle Hardened Formidable Foe, but it still doesn't mean it's super easy to see his counterattack animation, and that's just because he has a 50% chance to counter a Ki Blast super, so it's really a coin flip to even see it. Even when you were using him, I definitely did not see it super often, but it actually looks really good, and I really wish we got to see him more. The other Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the STR one who came out during New Year's, before the 9th anniversary, also has an amazing counter animation, super well animated. It is a 70% chance of being procced when you're using it against an unarmed super. Again, unarmed supers are not very common, and again, you're definitely not using this unit that often as you were before, so you definitely have not seen his animation too recently, unless you just love this unit so much that you're running no matter what. Alright, let's get into some Gochitas. The first one is It's Futile, Eagle Scream Soaring, LR Fizz Gochita Blue. Dodge canceling meta has absolutely destroyed this unit, but once we come out of it, he should still have some usability. He has a 70% chance to counter a Ki Blast super, which is pretty common, so I mean, you probably got to see it a lot more when he came out, but nowadays you're just not going to see it that often, and that's just more so because you're just not even using Gochita Blue. The next Gochita is in Super Saiyan 4 Gochita, who should EZA soon. I'm not really sure when, but if GT is 11th anniversary, I would not be shocked if that's where he EZAs. And I also would not be shocked if they increase his chance to counter. Right now, he has a 50% chance to counter all supers, which is already really good. But if they bring that up to 70% like they did with the physical Super Saiyan 4 Gochita, this unit is going to be such a broken Dokkan Fest TUR. And I really hope they do. He's an amazing unit who's very due for an EZA right now. Next, we have EZA LR Tech Super Gochita, and this is very strange to put him on this list, especially because he just got an EZA not too long ago. But the thing that is the problem is that it's a very hard condition to hit. You have to first hit the opponent with an 18 key super, and then you have to get hit by a unarmed super attack. Once you get hit by the unarmed super attack after landing the 18 key, it is a 100% chance to nullify it, but most of the time the boss is supering before you attack, especially if you're putting Gochita in slot 1, so you're not going to see it too often, but it does look very incredible. Alright, our last fusion is going to be Fizz Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. Restricted teams and just flat out aging out has just ruined being able to use this unit. He's already EZA'd, so I don't know if they're going to Super EZA Dragon Ball Heroes unit, so it's probably done for the rest of the game's history, which kind of sucks. In order to see his counter animation, it's a 50% chance against Ki Blast supers. It is very well done, extremely well animated. Honestly, I like that animation better than a super attack, so it's really cool to see when you get it, but you're just not going to see that often anymore. Alright, our next unit is Tech World Tournament 23 Goku. You're really only going to see this Ki Blast Nullify right now if you're playing Festival of Battles and you're facing this Goku, but in terms of actually seeing it within your game and using this unit, you probably haven't seen it in a hot minute, and that's just because he's not really usable right now. But it is a pretty nice animation to see, and overall, just could be a lot more seen once he EZAs, but right now, you're probably seeing it in Festival of Battles. Our next unit is LR Fizz Cooler, who should be EZAing during the 11th anniversary if they keep up with their trends. He has an amazing Nullify animation against unarmed supers. I love when his arm regenerates after being chopped off. You have a 70% chance of activating his Nullify if, again, you're facing an unarmed super attack. So, not too hard to see once you use the unit, but right now he's not really usable at all. Just gotta wait for that EZA during the 11th anniversary for him to get some relevancy. The next unit on this list is LR Fizz Fraudon, and yes, maybe they did fumble the units and they fumbled the kit, but they cooked with his animations. His Nullify animation looks amazing. I love all the shatters. I like when he hits the beam, it all like scatters across the board just like the movie. I kind of wish that it was a counter animation because especially of how it looked, it probably should have been a counter animation, but still it looks really good. I hope they increase his chance to nullify Ki Blast supers or make it guaranteed. That'd be really good to make him an optimal option on EZA. Right now he has a 50% chance to nullify a Ki Blast super when he down. Alright, let's go a little more niche. Let's go talk about Int 19 and Jiro. One of my favorite Nullify animations in this game. It's super simple, but it looks super cool when they're absorbing the Ki Blast that goes into their hand. You have a 100% chance of activating this absorption. It's not even a Nullify because they gain HP after they do it, but it's 100% against a Ki Blast super. So if you use the unit, you're always going to see it, especially if you're going to fight some Ki Blast super bosses. But really the issue is you have to use this unit, and you're not using this unit right now. They are not in meta at all. They cannot handle these bosses today. The next unit is STR Super 17, who also has an absorption style Nullify. But in order to do it, you have to first transform into Super 17, and then you also have to be under 70% HP. Once those two conditions are fulfilled, you have a 100% chance to absorb a Ki Blast super, which is really good. But again, you have to fulfill those conditions in order to do so. And the biggest issue being the under 70% HP. Getting to Super 17 isn't too hard, but that under 70% HP threshold can be pretty troublesome to get to, which makes it hard to see this attack, and will also, you're not running this unit at all. Alright, next we got AGL Kaiku, an amazing tank on release. It was a pretty good anniversary unit. I mean, his animations definitely left to be desired in certain areas, but they cooked with this intro, and they cooked with this counter animation. This counter animation is absolutely beautiful. I love the beam struggle they included in this, even though that every time you're not facing an opponent, it's not Vegeta. They still made it like that, and it looks really good. In order to see it, you need to be facing an opponent with a Ki Blast super attack, and he would have a 50% chance to counter it. Alright, our next unit is LR Int Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and there's a reason why you probably have not seen this one too much, and it's because it is in a super limited area. In order to see his Nullify, you need to be in standby with Oob out in front, and he will have a 100% chance to nullify unarmed super attacks. But again, you're not in Oob that long, really, sometimes only for one turn, so you only have one chance per run, essentially, to see the Nullify animation. And again, Super Saiyan 4 Goku is not being used a ton right now. You probably could with AGL Super Saiyan 4 Goku, but this animation does look amazing, but you're probably not seeing it super often right now. Alright, our next unit is EZA LR Fizz Janemba, and it's a little weird for me to say this because you probably do see this a little more often than some of these ones on the list, and again, because he's a more relevant unit, but he has aged just a tad due to the 10th anniversary meta, and he's not being ran as often, which is why a lower and lower amount of probably seen this animation, and that's just because you're not running him, and then it's a 70% chance to nullify a Ki Blast super when it's aimed at him. And yes, Ki Blast supers are still pretty popular, but during the 10th anniversary, they definitely toned it down a bit in big meta events. Alright, our next unit is Fizz Hit. It's not too hard to see this at all. It just depends on if you dodge or not with this unit. He has the same mechanic like Tech UI. If you dodge, you counter. This is a very good counter animation, especially for a free-play unit. It is one of my favorite ones in the game, and I kind of wish they saved this for It Hit. It looks amazing. And again, like I said, it just varies on if he dodges or not, and each time he dodges, he has a higher chance to dodge the next time. So it varies. It's hard to say exactly what the chance is to pull this off, but every time you dodge, you get this animation, which looks good. Alright, our final unit is Fizz Topo. If you remember in my most forgotten units video, I talked about Fizz Topo for a reason. He's just not being used that much. You know, you probably have some people who still run him, but there are a lot of people who probably don't even have him or forgot about him. And so that's the reason why you probably haven't seen this animation in a long time. In order to see it, you have to first go into God of Destruction Topo. On the first turn, you do have a 100% chance to nullify a Ki Blast Super, but every turn after, it is a 50% chance to nullify Ki Blast Super. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you guys think these guys are ones you haven't seen in a while? Do you guys enjoy these animations? Do you think they look incredible? And let me know in the comments below if there's other units you think should have been on this list. Leave a like and comment. If you guys want more voiced content, there's a link in the description below to all of my voiced Dokkan Battle content. And if you just want more Dokkan Battle content in general, there's a playlist right under that with all of my Dokkan Battle content videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.